You're listening to the Weird Girls Club podcast with your hosts, Nate and Amy.
Hello. On Women's International Day, International Women's Day, even.
What?
I said on I don't know what I said, Women's International Day or something, but I said like backwards, but I kind of still mean
were you
same thing
saying
anyways.
it back? Were you saying it back to me when I go to neck you recording me?
Yeah, I said oh my god, why can't I speak now? When you said that, I go on International Women's Day. But yeah, happy International Women's Day, everybody listening and watching.
Yeah. Happy International Women's Day. The best day of the year. That does not get enough recognition. Well, it gets recognition, but like
for like 24 hours.
Yeah, but I don't see why like it shouldn't be celebrated like Mother's Day or Father's Day. Where we actually get something.
Yeah, we should, shouldn't we?
I want to see is actually, I think this is February.
What? Oh no. Oh no. Her lamp. It's broken.
Oh my god, the noise of this chair sounds like it's crying because I'm sitting in it.
Oh, I can't even hear it. So no, we can't hear.
Hold on.
No, we can't hear. The people can't hear.
Stopping now. If you hear like that's the chair.
Oh, that was a bit weird now. But yeah, hope all on. No, I heard a noise as you said that, and it was a weird noise that didn't sound like
I thought you were saying me going if you hear like and you were like that's a little bit weird.
That is a bit weird though. Now that you said that,
it is a bit weird. But yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Weird Girls Club podcast. And today I think we're just gonna have a little chit chat, and then we'll see where the conversation takes us. We might talk about a few facts about women. And ask a few questions about being a woman. Good, bad, ugly, truthful. But yeah.
Neve was like, we should talk about the positives of being a woman. And I struggle to find any, to be honest. So I'd like to be enlightened on what you yourself find as a benefit then to being a man.
The benefit of being a man?
No, of like not being a man and being like the benefits of being a woman compared to being a man.
See, it depends on the way you look at it. Like, you know, it depends in your situation. Like a lot would say a benefit of being a woman is if you were having a family, there's a lot more pressure on a man to financially support a family. Some would say that's a two-way, but it's just like if the woman, just say you had a kid, like, and the woman was at home with the kid and the fella was like sitting on his arse, like not working, not doing that, and just not bothered, you'd be like, he's a fucking lazy gobshite. Like, why isn't he out providing for his, like, certain things like that? Like, but then again, you could say that the same about a woman as well. Do you know that kind of way? If it, but do you know where I'm saying? Like, if a woman's just had a baby, it is more like
some of the stereotypes are like slightly easier than when like things like that, when like everyone expects the man to go out and like work and provide and stuff like that, where you can be a bit more lenient when you're a girl. You can take that time, like the maternity leave. Obviously, it's such a new thing to have maternity leave for men, whereas you're given that time as a woman. But then also, I mean, up until probably about 50 years ago, you were probably sacked if you got pregnant, or you probably weren't even employed. Like, so
I'm probably sure, like in the 80s, I say like, as like the 80s weren't that long ago. Like, I'm sure like if they found out you're pregnant, like they'd find ways to let you go.
Yeah.
And in the 90s, like I'm sure there's companies all over that try to do it. They're just like more sly and like about it. You know, like a lot of companies, like I remember, I can't remember where I was going, like job searching, was it over here or was it at home? But I remember someone telling me, like, don't tell them like you're engaged.
Oh, really?
Because it turns employers off, because when they hear you're engaged, they're like, oh, she's got any time off for a wedding.
And then kids usually come after weddings.
And then, like that. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of workplaces are like dominantly men. And like, don't even get started on the financial like pay, like equal pay. Don't even get me started on that, but because that is a load of my that was me punching, but it didn't look like a punch.
No, it didn't. You look like you're calling everyone wankers.
Maybe I am.
When I was in college, one of my modules was like HR, and I remember like we were going through stuff like the process for like interviews and stuff like that, and the tutor was like going over certain things that like are and aren't allowed kind of be asked in interviews, and then there's stuff that they will ask but they like word it a different way to try like kind of catch it out. And a lot of stuff was like that with women was, oh, are you like stuff were you single, or if you were newly married, it's like, oh, how many kids are you gonna have? I have 2 kids, but they're trying to suss out, will she be in this job 3 months and then needs maternity leave for a year, and like loads of stuff like that honestly I never even thought about before, like that course and we were going to that. I'm like, it's mad the stuff you need to think about, like just to try get a job. It's already stressful, like going through interviews and stuff like that, and then you need to watch what you're saying. It's like you need to show them you're like spontaneous and a great candidate and this and that, but you have no life expectations and you never want to travel and you never want to have kids because you never want time off. That's why you need to sell like I'll be there like 365 days of the year. It's a joke.
It's like, do you want me blood as well? Give you a bag of blood each month as well. If you want a bag of blood, I get goes that way every month anyway. But like that's another case, like women have periods, like obviously, and there's like so many underlying conditions that are actually only getting like recognized now. I actually think I've seen like a few like YouTube ads and stuff about endometriosis and stuff like that when people have like it's basically when the lining of your stomach is creating outside of the fucking womb, like that's the tissue. Apparently it's like so bad and it's only kind of getting recognized now. But even besides that, like women are just expected to go around their daily life like nothing's happening, but they're just bleeding for how many days of the month. And then like I don't care if you have periods and you don't have cramps, like oh my god, I'm so fucking jealous. Like I'm so jealous.
It's I'm like it's the worst thing actually, like one of the worst things I think in the world.
It's so frustrating because if it was a man, they'd have the week off every month. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, but it's fucking true. And apparently I think it was a TikTok, this fella, I don't know if I sent it to you, if this fella, he was like, oh my god, like I just found out that women have periods every month and apparently their cramps, like the pain, can actually feel like a heart attack as
I saw that TikTok. It was like,
I was like
giving a speech or something.
I was like, and nobody believes us because if men don't experience it, it doesn't happen.
Or it's like
basically,
Joan, is they're also not taught about it. Like realistically, when you think about it, like I think we were taught about bleeding. Periods were like slightly mentioned when I think I was in 6th class. So what are you, around 10, 11, 12, like in that age bracket, they're like briefly mentioned of what it is and what happens and that. And then not until I'd say I was in maybe 5th year was it brought up again in like one random class, like SPHE or whatever it was, when I was in secondary school. So like 4 years later then we were taught about STDs and all the stuff like that. And it's like if we're only taught that as girls, like me in an all-girls school in primary and an all-girls school in secondary, like there's no way there's like boys over in the boys school across the road, they're not being taught about that. So like some of them, I remember seeing I think it was a TikTok or it might have been a video ages ago that like a girl was telling her boyfriend like kind of about periods, and like he didn't know that the tampon stays in there. He thought it was like, Joe, if you got tissue and just wipe, like he's like what do you do with that? And it's like it goes in you, and he's like, all right, and for how long? She's like, well, I mean, you kind of change it. It depends on like the flow. If you use the right size tampon, like it's in you. You need to sleep with it overnight. It's like
it's not going anywhere home unless you need to take that out. Like, and tampons can be super uncomfortable.
Oh, so uncomfortable.
Like sometimes they can be so uncomfortable. Like, and I know people be like, well, that means you're not putting it in right. But sometimes the tampon can move around, like it is fucking shoved up into your body. Sometimes it likes to move around and make ourselves comfortable, you know? Like, Tammy the tampon makes herself at home for a little bit.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah.
I don't know. I think schools definitely need to, but then again, it's like, right, schools are supposed to teach certain things, but like then again, it falls on parents as well.
Yeah, but
Like
some
if you,
people like,
especially if you're raising boys, and I'm sorry, but there's a very different thing with raising girls and raising boys.
100%, they're like black and white polar opposites.
Like I know people that have had sons and then they find out they're having a girl and they're like, oh my God, like I'm dreading having a girl. Like I have to be so protective and blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, well, do you not have to be protective over a boy? Like, are you not worried that you're not going to teach your boy like consent and ask for consent? Because like, it's not, and I think you would understand more like the where we come up from. Like it's not talked about.
No, 100%.
You
It's
know,
boys
like
will be boys. That's literally it. That's just how you describe it. It's boys will be boys.
Yeah, boys would be boys, and that's just like how it is. Like, not saying that people don't raise their kids, or I'm not saying that, like, but I'm saying in later years, especially like in like recent years, more than ever, with like the whole Me Too movement and everything, like consent is such a big fucking thing. And if they think raising girls are hard, like girls have a little bit more, they have a bit more cop on than boys. Like boys are kind of like doing like not just about anything like sexual around. I mean in general, they're like, we fucking do it, we'll figure out like how to fix it after. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, no, I get you.
Like in general, but with certain things you can't just do it and figure out how to fix it after. Like that's not life all the time. Like boys are a bit more little bit less thoughtful. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, well, I think it falls back to that idea that like boys will be boys, because it's the same like when it's kids, like where you say, let's say there's a 4-year-old boy and there's a 4-year-old girl, they're playing. The boy is generally a little bit more rougher because they're probably playing football with their dad or like older brothers, and it's wrestling and it's fighting and blah blah. And even if the girl is into that as well, as into football, wrestling, when they're playing and say the girl maybe gets hurt and blah blah blah, or they push her over, it's boys will be boys. It's that mentality and that like not being held accountable. Obviously they're 4-year-old kids, they're playing, laughing to crying, like we were literally just saying the other day, but it's that they're not held accountable at like even a young age or grown up, and then it just goes to they're never held accountable because then before you know it, they're 18, they're either going off to college or they're working or they're doing whatever, and they've not been shown that certain things aren't right. And especially just because you're a boy, it shouldn't just be, oh yeah, well they're manly, they're rough, they're whatever, because obviously not every boy is like that, but that's where it all stems from, is like the mentality you have, and then as raising the kids, it just that's how like it's so the younger years are so important for kids, because then that's just the mentality you grow up on. Like,
well, that's it. Like that, you have to drill into their head from that young. Like I know a girl, I seen a girl on TikTok, I think she has like 2 or 3 young enough boys. I think one of them was probably like 14, 14, and then she has like 2 younger kids, and she's like very open. Like she's like, we talk about consent all the time, and then she like randomly like on TikTok she'll ask like our 13-year-old like, what do you do in this situation? And he's always like, you ask for consent. And then even if she asks the younger ones like in a different video, like, what do you always do? And they're like, ask for and what's consent? And they're like, when you have to ask, and if they say no, they mean no. Like kid words, like, you know what I mean?
She
no, I know, do it for 3 sons, like a lot. And I think also the mentality of like, I know there was like with like the whole thing about like men, and then the campaign of like not all men, and then there was uproar being like, it's not all men, but women have to suspect every man, all men,
because
like,
you don't know what man, like that's the thing.
Exactly, that's the thing. Like women don't go around being like, oh, he looks nice, like he doesn't look like he'll do that. Like no, sorry, like
you just have to be on guard.
Suspect the unexpected.
That's all of the time.
You know what I mean? Like, and fucking hell, we always have to be on guard all day, every day. Like walking down the street, we have to be on guard. Like, do you know what I mean? People don't care. A woman, easy target. Let's rob her, or let's do worse. Like it's, and like I am, you know me, like I am overly cautious when I am out.
100%. Yeah, like
and that's how I've been raised, and I'm like, that's survival mode for me. Like I have to make sure, like even when Aaron has his wallet in his back pocket, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot.
The back pocket's just an accessory. You don't put that in it.
Oh, Thank you. He's walking around with his wallet in his back pocket. I was like, you are screaming for someone just to say, rob me. Like, rob me. Like, with a fucking neon light shining into your arse. Like, rob me. Here's me wallet. Do you want it? Like, literally, like, stupid things like that. And I was like, oh, it's just because I wasn't raised like that. I was always raised like, if I could have been given like a bulletproof vest going out when I was younger, like, I probably would have been given one. Do you know that kind? Like, I was always taught caution, like, keep your stuff in your pockets, zip your pockets, like because you hear people and they do stupid things, like, and it's just like, no, I am that person. I would it'd kill me inside knowing that I done something like, or left something, me bag open and I was walking down the road, or I left me phone in my back pocket and then it's gone. I'd be like, I would literally probably bait me head off each wall of me gaff, like being like, you are a stupid bitch. Like, why would you do that? Like, do you know, like,
yeah, no, my dad's always the same. I remember my dad, my uncle, whenever me and my cousin were gone anywhere, it was like, now put your phone in this pocket and zip it up and put your bag in this way, and are you wearing a backpack? Don't wear a backpack because it'll just open zips. If you're wearing a backpack, don't actually put anything in it, and all these things, and you'd be like, oh my god, a half an hour trying to get out of the gaff, like.
And they're always like, be careful, watch your bag. That was like my dad saying, be careful, watch your bag.
Yeah, that's literally, oh my god, insane. I was even telling me that where I think we were on pictures or something, and it was like getting dark. It was like, are you walking? Did you want me to say on the phone to it now? And I was like, oh my god. And like, Nate has me live location, like, it's fun.
Yeah, I'll just see like us stopping at a certain location. I'll be like, well, we got a bitch down. We got a bitch down.
Woman down. But yeah, that I wouldn't like, that's something actually that I've done a lot now, is sending you me live location. Like, I know we're usually meeting somewhere, but even a few times when I was walking home from you, I was like, it just never occurred to me to do it. And then I was like, I should actually probably do that. Like, just because it was something I think it was after I got back from me Maz, and that thing happened with the girl down the country when she was out on our run. And I was like, for a while after that happened, I was just like, oh my god, like that, like it can like, just like,
rather be safe than sorry. Like you can always send me your location, even if I'm not meeting you. Like, even if you are going, I don't know, on a random day, or just going to shop for yourself, you can just send me your location. I'm not going to be stalking you. But like, if I go in and check after an hour and I'm like, oh bitch, she's not home. Like,
or like she doesn't text back or something. Yeah,
that's what, like, I mean.
Even when we went to the pictures tonight, and like I sent it, like, because you can do, I think, for like 15 minutes, an hour, and 8 hours, whenever it's something like that, and I'm leaving you and I'm like going home, or I'm like, I just do 8 hours, because it's like, just in case, like, imagine something did, like, you never know. It's like, you just always be cautious, like. But I mean, you don't have to, trying to find the balance with being cautious and not living your life afraid, though, is also something as well. Like
there's a difference when you don't like leave your house, or actually, here's a good example right now. What I done in, was it the summer, or no, not even, like, I went to the cinema for the first time on my own. Probably, when would you say it was? Like September, October, or was it late?
It was before me ma came, wasn't it?
Could have been. I'm not too sure. I'm saying.
So I think it would have been August.
Was it summery then? I think I was wearing a hoodie.
Yeah, but I mean, like, late August, because my ma came, I think. Oh, my ma came the end of September, actually. She came like the 20th, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say I was thinking like end of August, early September, kind of, like, it wasn't like fall, I don't think.
But yeah, I would not go to cinema on my own ever. Because I was afraid, and this is so, like, it's so stupid, because the chances of it happening, but this always just stuck with me, that I was always afraid that a shooter would come into the screen and shoot me dead. And because that story, when people went to see, like, remember, was it like the midnight showing, like Batman, the Dark something Knight, like or that, something? And like, there was babies there, like people with like a couple had newborn baby, because like obviously the baby was asleep, and there was loads of people, and yet just fucking psycho came in and just with a machine gun just started fucking letting rip at all of them, like, and so many people died. That always, like, in my head, like, stuck with me, like, I don't know why, because you hear people hijacking planes and all that. I've gotten on a plane by myself, like, I've done it, but for some reason, I think it's because when it's just, your guard is very down when you're in the cinema, because you're there to relax and watch a film.
Yeah,
But you
and
have
it's
an
like
idea
dark
on
and
but when you're on a plane, it's like a bit turbulent. You're like, oh, like it's a bit. Your guard is always kind of a bit like a plane could crash. Like you're always kind of do you know that kind of way? It's more
it's like the possibilities of all these things, like
but the cinema, I don't know, it's dark, like, and then if the shooter is down near the screen, like you can't get out.
They're like trying to like over here. I find most of the screens have like 2 entrances and exits, like from either side, because they're quite big. Well, they are downtown where we live anyways, but like that, like a general cinema, there's like one way in, one way out, and if they're in down there, there's nowhere to go. So I do understand the fear completely. I know I used to be like, oh my god, like just go to cinema, you'll be fine, like trying to get you to do it and like face the fear. But I do get it completely, because weirdly stuff like that wouldn't stop me from going to the pictures, but I do think about it, if that makes sense. Like if I'm sitting in the pictures, that will come into my head probably 9 times out of 10 of me going to the pictures on my own or with someone.
But now I would do it because I've done it once.
That's what I'm saying. It's like once you get over the hurdle, that's kind of it.
It's like, well, if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yeah, if it's gonna happen, it'll happen. Why no? I used to go
because I could hear the bangs, but was the screen next door? It must have been another film. I was like, boof, boof, and I remember texting you, and I was like, this is it.
Oh my god, yeah,
this is fucking it. Like he planned this. It's the middle of the fucking day. So he's gonna just like be like, sad bastard's gonna sit in the middle of the day. Let's just get
you don't want to live, go to cinema.
Like, and going to see a film I already had seen. Like it was like the Outsiders, like it's an old film. I just went to see like the director's cut. Yeah, I am that person. I seen a director's cut film in the cinema. But
and it wasn't even Justice League or anything.
And then I was like, I'm dying for this film to end, like, because I've already seen it. You know, and it was only me and like a couple down a few rows, and they must have been like, fuck's sake, like what a sad bitch who comes middle of the day on their own to a director's cut film. But I was like, well
they did,
but they were sick. I was there. The look I got when they were getting into that seat, bet you they were wishing I wasn't there. I was like, weirdos. I was like, go see like something interesting. But I was glad they were there, because like if I die, I'm dying.
If you hadn't been there on your own, your man probably would have come in and been like, oh, this is more to him, step beside you.
Yeah, he was like, is this film any good? But and another reason was as well, that wasn't just that one. Them 2 TikTokers that went to, this was only a few months ago, 2 TikTokers, a boy and a girl, they went to see, what was a really big film out before Christmas?
Spider-Man? Or before, like way before Christmas.
It was a good bit before Christmas, like not that much before Christmas, but it wasn't Spider-Man. It was something else. They went to see it, but some psycho.
Eternals
could have
been the other Marvel movie.
Could have been something like that, but it's a loud film in anyway. Like it was a loud film. Like it was on the news and everything, but some fella, whoever was sitting behind them, shot them in the fucking back of the head during the loud parts of the film. They didn't even know. No one in the screen knew they had fucking died because the screen was so loud. The workers found them at the, like, when everyone had cleared out.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I actually should look up the story.
I wonder was it
they were only like 19, and they were known because they were on TikTok. It wasn't like packed that like they were elbow to elbow people apparently.
No, but like I'm talking about when the movie's over and the lights come on, like how did no one
I must spray myself. Well, if you get shot in the back of the head, you're hitting the deck, really, aren't you?
Yeah, that's why you always sit in the back. No one behind you. No, but like
exactly. But yeah, that's a story. But they're only young. They're on TikTok. That's how it was like.
Yeah,
I think it was like on one of those Snapchat stories I first read it on.
Yeah, because when we went to see Scream on the weekend, you know what I was thinking about the whole time we were in it, because it was actually kind of busy. It was busier than what I expected. But you know the scene from Scary Movie where your one just keeps laughing in the pictures and then she ends up getting stabbed. Yeah, and they end up stabbing. I just kept thinking of that because there was some like questionable characters. I'm not going to judge anybody, but it seemed like if you're going to go see the 6th installment in a franchise, maybe don't go 2 months after it's out, when like I feel like we're surrounded by like donors
talking.
Yeah, everyone was talking, and then like people were clapping and all, and it was just a weird vibe. I felt very
so weird. And I have a word for it, but I don't want to say it. Like, well,
don't. Well, I don't know what you're gonna say, but it did. I did feel very out of place. It was weird.
I was this close to telling that couple beside me to shut the fuck up.
I was just trying not to look at
from the start. Didn't they, Amy? From start to end. And then there's some fella with his legs dangling over the bars with his runners just thrown on through the stairs. I was like, okay, that's not a fire hazard.
Everyone was sitting with their feet up. Like I know I do it sometimes when I'm in the cinema, but like not if there's someone like in the row near me or anything like that. The person beside me that was like 2 seats beside had his feet just sprawled up the whole time, and I was bursting. I was like, please, like this film so long. And then there was like just random groups, and like everyone was on their phone, everyone was talking, and I'm like, I know it's the 6th installment and it's out 2 months, but like why come pirate it or something? No, it was definitely good.
But at one point, I literally turned to you and goes, everyone around us is just talking.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? There is certain cinema etiquette that you have to learn, which they do not know. And it's so annoying. Like, I am easily triggered with stuff like this.
Oh, stop.
No, I mean, like, I am weird with shit like this. Like, weird with shit like this. Like, little things like that. Because I am convinced, like, I am like undiagnosed OCD. Like, I could be looking at something that's so perfect, right? So perfect. I will find the tiniest thing that's not perfect, and I just have to keep looking at that one thing. Do you know that kind of way?
I do that as well, though. It's like once you see something, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, but it would ruin my night. Like, say if I'm sitting on the sofa, right? And I like to have the things in front of me, telly, like the decorations around, like perfect to the way I want them. Yeah. If I notice like the candle isn't in line in some way, shape, or form, I can't just sit there and be like, I'll leave it, it's grand. I have to get up and fix it. And I'll keep sitting back down to make sure it's exactly the way I want it. Like, I am fucked up in the head with shit like that.
Yeah, futures. There's like,
so can you imagine being in the cinema and a couple beside you is talking from the beginning to the very last? I think they were still there talking when the credits were coming up. I don't think they seen any of the film at all.
Yeah, and they actually were quite low because like I think there was 2 seats between you and them, and then it was me, and like I could hear them. Oh, there was only one seat. Oh, okay.
Because they were sitting in air seats when we sat down, and they had the whole row.
I was like to die. And that was the person that booked the very middle seat in the cinema on his own before anyone else had booked tickets. We were like the second and third person to buy tickets, right? I went on, there's one person sitting at the very middle, at the very back, where I always like to sit. And I was like, do we sit the left of him, the right of him? Like, where do we sit? Like, and then we had booked it. And we were having a look to try see them when we were found if the screen was busy, and there was someone sitting right beside him. I'm like, that's weird, but obviously they booked a ticket later. Maybe he didn't know who he was gonna go with or something. I don't know. But then we get there, and oh my god, I'm so glad Neve walked first, because I would have just kept walking and sat in another seat. They were sitting in their seats, and I was just like, oh, I want to know. I'm like, how do you book a specific seat?
I know,
like that's the seat everyone wants. Like, I'm sorry, it is. How do you book that seat and then not want
doesn't sit in it? Because I didn't want to like move into another seat for then another couple to come in and be like, you're sitting in air seats, and I'm going to be like, well, they're sitting in air seats, you know, like, so I was like, the worst thing was when I sat in the seat, it was hot, and there's something so disgusting when you sit in a seat that's already warm. Or is that just me?
Yeah,
and it's people you don't know, that kind of way. I'm like, you're just butt warm to see. Thanks,
keeping it toasty for you.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, like, it wasn't my favorite trip now to the cinema because I was being tormented, and then the 2 girls in front of us were doing fucking rock a rosy like this in the fucking chairs. What the hell? Like, they literally their chairs were literally nearly touching their shins.
Yeah, they were, and we couldn't go back because the wall was behind.
So I have fucking yappers beside me. I have leading
seesaw
girls in front of me. Yes. I was like, oh my god, there's a fella with his feet hanging out, there's people on their phone, people are clapping. I don't it was just an absolute nightmare. Like an absolute, like my description of like a nightmare. And then the bathrooms, I don't know what the story is, Cineplex. Get your shit together. Put locks on every door. Like, hold on. I bet you if you went into the man's cubicles, there's locks on every door.
Yeah, probably.
There's not one lock on the door.
This is actually something I'm curious about, right? Why do men have urinals? Why? Like, who came up with this idea that they didn't need to go and use a toilet? Like, that they were all just going to stand in front of each other with their dicks out?
Well, yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Because they have urinals and toilets, because if you need to do a number 2, you can go in the toilet. So, like, what's the point of a urinal?
But isn't a urinal kind of more hygienic for a man? Because, right, they go into a cubicle, right?
Well, that's not their fault. And they piss all over the sea.
No, not even that. They whip their weapon out, right?
Right.
But then they have to tuck it back in, and then they have to touch the handle of the cubicle door to open it. And a lot of men don't wash their hands, Amy. Like, a lot of men.
But the thing is, right? Obviously, I don't really care because I don't use the men's toilet. So, I mean, if you're not washing your hands and you're touching the door, that's just on men. Like, the concept of a urinal just fascinates me. It's like, obviously, I don't know who came up with it, but like, who came up with the idea that they just weren't going to use toilets? Like they were going to have they were going to have both. This is why it's a man's world. They have both. I might want to use a urinal.
But if we could.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's certain things.
And to be honest, I don't think women would, even if they had an option. Women are a lot more discreet. Well, unless you're locked in a nightclub on night out and you're pulling your friends into the cubicle with you, you're like, yeah, I'm in here.
But it just fascinates me. It's like, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, why? Like, why?
Men have the best of both worlds, Amy. Because men have the best of both worlds, basically. Yeah,
that's the thing.
They can stand up or they can sit down. They can do it all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we sound like such men haters. We're not men haters, but like,
no, we're not. I'm just curious.
Men have definitely, like, I don't even care if this sounds sexist. Men have an easier fucking life.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
And you know what? This is another thing. I don't understand why men are paid more than women. Because women have to, not that they have to, but women spend more money. They have to get their hair cut. They get makeup. They have to buy tampons, pads. Like, women actually have to spend money.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. It's more expensive to be a woman, yet you're paid a lot less.
Yeah. Sorry, world, but that ain't adding up on the Richter scale.
No, it's
so yeah, like, don't worry. I do love men. I have some great men in my life, but any man that tries to fight me and say women have an easier life, I'll fight any man. I'll fight any man. You want to come on the podcast and debate this? Let us know. I will happily go up. I will happily. Actually, I have a good little topic that I think would be actually interesting to hear your view on. So I was watching this. I wasn't watching. I was listening to this podcast. I can't remember who his name. I think it's Adrian Kennedy. And his podcast is with another girl called Katie. And this is the only episode I've actually listened to. I seen it on Facebook and there was like uproar about it. And I think he's on like FM 104 or something. And his podcast is called Opinions Matter. And the topic in this podcast, so they have people that like ring in and stuff, like, and give their opinions. The topic was breastfeeding in public. Some woman sent in a message and was like, I was out in a cafe or something. This was one of the stories. I can't remember all of them because there was a few people on it talking, but this was one of them. I was out in a cafe. This actually was a man. I was out in a cafe with my wife and daughter, and I looked over and there was a woman. Sorry, I said woman. There was a woman in the corner of this busy cafe breastfeeding our child, and we ended up all leaving because we thought it was disgusting. Right. And he was like, she hadn't even got on and she didn't cover it. She was sitting in the corner. Right. So she was in the corner of a busy cafe breastfeeding her child. And the co-host of this podcast, Katie, she felt strongly about it because she breastfed her kids and was like, it's such fucking women shaming. Like, literally, this is why so many women don't want to breastfeed, is because of like arseholes like this. So some fella rang in Some fella, actually, do you know what actually gets me angry even thinking about it? Some fella rang in. I can actually feel myself go on. Some fella rang in and basically compared women to fucking cows. Says cows get milked in the barn, don't they? So why should babies be breastfed in public? Basically saying we're cows.
Oh my God.
So we should pump
at home. I actually hate this. This angers me. Why whenever men need to like prove their point, they just compare women to an object, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This whole lock and key, if I see one more fucking TikTok about a lock and a key being compared to women having sex and men's body count, I swear to God, I'm gonna kill a man. I'm gonna kill a man with bare hands. Like, sorry, the only way of like standing your ground and proving your point is by comparing a woman to in some sort of tangible object. That's not proving your point, because we're not that object. Yeah. We're not that object. It's like, don't you see the difference? If you're trying to tell me there's no difference between a man and a woman, there's no inequalities, then like how are you comparing it to like a car or a lock and a key? This whole like all these things, I'm like, men think they're so smart when they come up with this, that they're like, yeah,
absolutely.
No, have you seen the TikToks about this whole lock and key thing?
I don't even think I want to, because like I was so annoyed after I listened to this podcast. Like so annoyed.
Yeah, it was basically about the whole thing of like why women are kind of scrutinized for having a high body count or having sex with multiple people. So it's like if you have a lock, right, that can be opened by any key, it's not a very good lock. But if you have a key that can open many locks, that's a great key because it's a master lock. And they were basically saying the key was the men and being able to have sex with different women, but the woman was the lock, and she had sex with different men. She was basically not worthy. And I was like, oh, I'm ready to punch someone. That was the whole
this shit.
Yeah, it's men. But that was a real but that whole thing, like compared to, I'm like, but a woman's not a cow. Like, I'm not a cow. And I mean, if
imagine saying that like live on a like if this podcast gets hundreds of thousands of listens, a woman hung up on him. The co-host hung up on him.
Oh my God.
And Adrian, your man, was like, you can't do that. Like, this is called opinions matter. Like, you can't hang up on people. This is the whole
Not when they're dumb. Not when they're dumb.
She was like, you could hear her through my, she was rampant. She was like, no, I don't care. And all like, this is exactly what I mean. Like comparing me to cattle, comparing women to cattle. She was like, I'm not taking that. I'm not taking it for anyone listening either. And all like, but women were ringing in saying, yeah, it's disgraceful. They shouldn't be breastfeeding.
Yeah, some but you know what I don't get, right? What farm has he been on where the farmer has the time of day to go out and bring a cow inside so no one sees the baby calf sucking on our tits? What? No.
Thank you.
Like, I'm sorry. No. Have you ever drove past a field? Does he actually live in Ireland? Has he ever drove past a field? You will find a baby sheep or a lamb, a calf. They will be sucking on the tit.
Yeah. And then she said to the point to him, she goes, so you saying this when you were out eating? And I knew where she was going with it. He was like, yeah, I was out eating. And she was like, yeah, and that baby's out eating as well. So what's the problem? And he was like, yeah, but that's different, like whipping her tit out and all. And like,
she's not going around shoving it in your face after if you want a glass of milk. Like,
exactly. What's it
mind their business?
Don't look. Aaron had just come in and I had the podcast playing and he was like, what's this? And I was just telling him and he was like, people are sad. He was like, if it makes you uncomfortable, just don't fucking look. He was like, why are you even looking in anyway? Look away. You don't have to stare at the person. Like, why? What's the big deal? And I was like, thank you. Do you want to ring in and tell these fucking idiots? Like, don't look away. It's not a big deal. Like,
the one thing I'll say is I'm glad he removed himself and I hope he didn't cause the same for your one. Cause that's one thing then. It's like, yeah, if you're uncomfortable and you have this closed-minded mindset, at least remove yourself and not then cause a scene. Because if you had been like, oh yeah, I called the manager and got the manager to go over, then like obviously that's 10 times worse. Still completely wrong and an absolute arsehole. And I would love to know if his wife breastfeed his kids that were sent at that table.
There was another fella that rang in and he was actually agreeing with that man, right? He was like, no, it's disgusting. Now, like, I don't know why you can't just pump and feed your child when like bring the bottle with you. He was like, I never let my wife breastfeed. I made her pump. And your woman on the house was like, hold on, you're telling me you made your wife pump and not breastfeed. Like, you wouldn't let your wife breastfeed. And he was like, no, wouldn't let her breastfeed. And he was like, I don't see why you can't just go out if it's that bad and you sit in your car with the baby and feed them. And yeah, another girl rang in and she was like, hold on, what if I don't have a car? Am I supposed to jump on Dublin bus, go around the block with my child? And or what, am I supposed to sit in this stanky toilet with my child? Like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like,
or like can't afford like a pump. I have no idea how much a pump costs. Can't imagine it's fucking cheap.
Yeah, but some people probably can't afford it. Like, and it's personal choice. It's exactly it's personal choice. And if you have an issue, remove yourself from the situation, because you shouldn't be in public.
Because you're the issue, like.
Yeah, exactly. It's your issue. But
no, that annoys me.
I love how we've just turned this whole podcast into such a man-hating podcast. And
it's Aaron not though. It's just
Aaron literally just walked back in.
Oh yeah, we'd love your opinion on this topic.
We'd love your opinion on this.
No, we're definitely not man-hating. There's certain things that come with being a woman and certain expectations you're meant to live up to. Like there was a lot of that as well when I saw on TikTok. It's like there's certain, I remember this whole thing was trending about why like men shouldn't have podcasts and men with podcasts are red flags, and this whole thing was trending because they were just saying stupid shit like, oh, if my partner is not in the gym and back to shape like 6 weeks after having a baby, then like I'm leaving her, kind of thing. I'm like, hang on a minute, do you know what a woman's body goes through to create a human being? I'm sorry. And you just want them to be skinny. Like how close-minded and self-centered are you that you literally just care about appearances? I
think I seen that clip of that podcast you were talking about. He was like,
it was going everywhere.
Like 6 weeks and she's not back to the shape she was in.
Nice ass, Aaron.
That's his head. She said, nice ass, Aaron.
He's just like bent over in the background.
No. Oh, hold on. No, you're gone. I think I did see that there was actually uproar, and he's just a scumbag that doesn't deserve to have a partner if that's the case. Like exactly, but it's unreal, and it's actually like it's that pressure. Like not only men, anyone and women put it on themselves sometimes, but mainly it comes from like men putting that pressure on themselves on women. Yeah. Like
it's crazy.
Like it's such a high fucking standard of perfection. Like that. Like we can't complain about anything, or we're just moan bags. Like
yeah, because then the thing is, right, if then like that they want you to be held to, you need to be held to like a certain beauty standard, you need to be a certain weight, blah blah. But then if you go and get any sort of surgery, whether that be a tummy tuck, liposuction, lip filler, if you get your nails done, or like any sort of thing,
she's high maintenance,
and wear makeup or whatever, or get your hair done, whatever it is, it's then like, oh, she's fake. Oh, she's this. Oh, she's that. Oh, like, sorry, what sort of oil painting are you expecting to walk out like down the road? Like,
I know.
Oh, I don't know. That like And again, I just want to like push the narrative. We're not men hating, or like we know it's not every man. It's just a running theme in the male side of the gender spectrum. Like it's just and there is some girls as well that like totally agree with certain men, and I don't know if it's that they want to impress a guy or they do have this belief as well, but sometimes I don't get like girls like that are like, oh yeah, breastfeeding is disgusting, oh yeah, you should be like size 6, or you should be this, or it's
but like let me remind you are given boobs to do exactly that. It's men who sexualized boobs. It's that's a man's problem.
Yeah,
if he doesn't like a baby doing what they're doing to the thing that they were made to do, the thing that they're there for.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Yeah, don't be jealous. Yours don't do the same.
Like, sorry if they're not gonna look the same. I mean, nipples are gonna be like bullets after it, but like that's life.
Yeah. Oh, like I don't know.
That's my choice. It's a woman's choice, and no man should ever have an influence on that. I don't think. It's a woman's body.
No.
Exactly. Another like thing with the abortion things that people are giving out about. Why are men making decisions about women's bodies?
Yeah, no,
why?
It's insane.
Men should not have a say when it comes to women's bodies at all.
A lot of stuff's happening in America that like I don't know what state it was like one state brought it in that like the time is being reduced on when you can get an abortion. I think give like 4 weeks
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Sure, you don't even get just 4 scans till 12 weeks, so how does that make sense? And the majority of people find out when they miss their first period, which is after 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and it could be longer depending, like some people's cycles are weird.
It's just how this is kind of off topic, but like, isn't it mad how religion just rules the world? Like this is like all stems from like a Christianity, whatever you want to call it. Like it comes from that they say it's in the Bible and that's God's will and blah blah blah. Like that, like even though I'd say 90% of the people in this day and age aren't like significantly religious or like properly practice, but like that's what it comes from. And it's weird to think about like how multicultural a lot of places are now. Obviously there's still certain places that aren't as like multicultural as others, but that rule just applies to all. Like it's a form of law because of a book that's probably millions of years old, and I mean no one really knows how factual it is, like realistically. Because I saw a TikTok and I didn't really realize this, and it was like women talking. It's actually put me for your page a few times, and I think it's a talk show host, and she has like say 5 different people on it, but they're all different religions. And she asked one girl, she's like, in Judaism, is abortion illegal? And I can't remember the logistics of it, but basically I think in Judaism it wasn't at no point in the pregnancy is abortion illegal, like within that religion. And the pregnant person's life always comes over like a fetus kind of. And then Hinduism was similar, and then when I got to Christianity they were like, yeah, abortion's just not accepted. I'm like, I never actually realized that it was kind of just a strong like Christian thing. Oh my god.
Yeah, like it's like
weird.
Anything though, like there's like certain priests and stuff will have certain views on things. Do you know what I mean? Like just because they're a priest doesn't mean like they don't support gay marriage.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah,
they don't support like certain things. But I do get what you're saying, where like
it kind of all stems from that.
If you're going back like Magdalene's sister day is like in Ireland, you can see why it was like, well, we don't agree with abortion, but we will lock you away in a boarding house and you can give birth to that child, and then we'll rip that child away from you and you'll never see that child again. Kind of contradict,
that's what I'm saying. Like times have really changed, where it's like we probably don't even realize that half these laws and rules are in place because of religion. That like years and years ago, the Bible was from, like Bible, like you swear on the Bible when you're in court.
And you know what? I wouldn't even blame it to a certain extent of the actual religion. I think it's more
the interpretation,
the interpretation and the progression of like certain things in certain religions, like where it was like brainwashed onto people.
Yeah.
Like think back to when Christianity first started. I don't know if they were so against. I don't even know if abortion was a thing.
It's not even in the Bible. You know? Like it's not in the Bible, but this is how they perceive it. It's like, it's.
But it also says love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor. Everyone's your neighbor. So what was the big hold up with gay marriage and all that?
Yeah, or accepting other people to believe in other beliefs. Like, that's it. That's why I hate religion. I'm sorry. Do you know? Sorry if I offended anyone, but like that's what works me is all these contradictions. It's like they want to believe in one half and not the other, and it's like I don't know.
Because I don't think in Christianity there's a lot, like, because it's all so many, like it's the Bible's about like each apostle and their kind of view, like, or Matthew, Mark, Luke and John or whoever they are. It's like their take and their view that because they're like spokesperson for Jesus or whatever, but Jesus is dead and gone in the New Testament. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like them writing it. So it's like, oh, Jesus like would have wanted us to say these words. So it's like, but did he? Because I think he had a lot going on. I don't think he's covered all the topics he needed to cover.
I don't think
he
so.
He was a bit busy, you know?
Yeah. It's like an English teacher. This poem could just be about a swan in a lake. It doesn't have to mean anything. So why are we reading into it too much and writing like 1,000 word essays on it? Could just be the swans in the lake because it's a nice sunny day. Like it's things like that. It's like you're reading into something and making it something that you want it. Like you get over what you put in it kind of thing. If you want to see this side of something, that's what you're gonna see and that's what you're gonna stand for. That's what you're gonna preach to everyone. I know people would be like, well, if you're Catholic or you're Christian, like you believe in the Bible, like that's why you're that religion, because you fully believe in that. But like a lot of people argue this, but then there'll be other religious people that would be like,
Well, no, I just for example, just say I am a Catholic and I am a practicing Catholic, but I don't agree with everything in the Bible. And I'm sure there's like Muslims and there's so many different religions that feel the same about the Quran or whatever. They'd be like, yeah, no, I fully practice. Do I take some things with a pinch of salt? You have to remember, right? Jesus turned water into wine.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, some things you have to take with a pinch of salt. Like,
this is the thing, right? Was Jesus a witch?
But
how
then
can
again,
you do these
I'm
magic
like,
things and then you're crucifying witches?
So they're saying like Jesus turned water into wine and he turned fish into food, whatever it was, right? But like, I think like some people interpret that as literally. I don't think it's all literal. I think it's more metaphors.
Oh yeah.
Like he turned water into wine. But that could have easily been like he turned like knowledge into facts or something. Do you know what I mean? We don't know because we weren't there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you froze, but I would just kept talking.
You froze for a second. Yeah, because you were frozen for me.
Oh, all right, I'll just say it again. So I was saying, like he said, he turned water into wine. So people would literally be like, he turned water into wine.
Yeah.
But I don't think that. I think it's a metaphor. Like it could easily be a metaphor. Like just as an example, like the water could be facts and the wine could be knowledge or power or something. Like he turned facts into power. Like we don't know.
Yeah.
Like someone translated all this. You have to remember, like,
oh my God,
someone, all these different, hundreds of different people wrote down on, I don't even know if they had paper back then. They probably had like
carving it to stone.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. It's so long ago.
Interpretations, but like, do I believe in certain things in the Bible? I don't know, because I haven't read the Bible since I was in primary school. Like, or been read to me. Do I class myself as a practicing Catholic? No. But do I like to believe like in times of trouble, you could go to like church or something like that? Yeah. I think when you see people,
there's a comfort in that.
There is because you think like, oh, there's something there that can help, or like whatever. Like death is a big thing, like more than anything. Like you like to think that there's a something there. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah,
that life's not just kind of gone.
Yeah, or you see people all the time that like a lot of prisoners like turn to religion and stuff like that, like when they're really like. So I think it's more like of a mindset thing. Like if you really, it's like Santi though. Do you know what I mean? If you really want to believe there's a Santi and a tooth fairy and a Sabuni, like go ahead.
Yeah,
like that's up to you. Do you know what I mean? Like if you want to believe it. Like it, but that's the same with religion. Like if you want to believe it, believe it. If not, then
that's the thing. It's like,
but I just think a lot of the views in religion shouldn't be passed on to people and shouldn't be laws. And I don't think a government should take a religion into account. I think it should be, all laws should be taken into account as if there's no religion. Yeah. But if you have a religion and in your religion you don't do this, or it's frowned upon, or it's like shameful, then that's your personal preference. You just don't do that. Then that's up to you. That's on you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because everyone's a different religion, so you're never going to keep everyone happy.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, do you think like, obviously the like laws are kind of so old, like they're so old that like half the people don't even recognize that it's something's a law because it was a religious, like supposedly in the Bible, or is a religious practice that like men and men, or women and women, like same-sex couples are like a sin and it's frowned upon by God and blah blah. And I have no idea if it says that in the Bible. Like I really don't think it does, but that then became a law because obviously like I feel like years ago religion was a really strong thing, like in all majority of the schools in Ireland are like Catholic schools, and there's just, even if you watch an older film, like there's like the priest that like they all just know each other, because it's such, everything was like small towns, and then laws were made, and then as expansion happened and people took over certain states or certain countries, it was all just rolled out, and now we're hundreds of years later and it's just like, that's just a law, that's just in the constitution, or that's just the amendment, or that's just this, and it's like no one questions it because it's been the law. And it's like in work when you're trying to do something new, it's like we've always done it that way, until someone really fights it, and then it's like, all right, we'll have a vote and we might change it. Like that's kind of thing. It's like no one's even looking back at when these were put in
place. It's all about evolving. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I've not like there's countries and it revolves around religion. That's fair enough. Like Ireland's a mainly Catholic country.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. But the way things are like what we were saying, like abortion shouldn't have anything to do. Gay marriage shouldn't have anything to do with not making it legal at all. Like it's the 21st century.
Yeah.
Like people have evolved, people have different mindsets, and people aren't going to evolve and change their mindset until you change the law. People are still going to have that mind frame of it's being frowned upon if it's not legal.
Yeah.
If something's not legal, it's frowned upon.
I know.
Do you know that? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think of the next generations that they'll just be like, oh, like, yeah, they're gay, they're married. Not a big deal.
It becomes more like normalized.
It's just normal because we've evolved. Like, that's life. Like, people have grown. They like. It was just, I think it was a lot to do with like bringing shame on your family, and it wasn't the norm. Certain things weren't the norm or be talked about. It's a lot of like old town fucking, like I'm just thinking of Ireland, like mostly because that's where we're from. Like old town, like, oh geez, don't want the neighbours talking.
That's what it is. Yeah, like the opinions.
Father Peterson heard this now. You'd be getting 6 slaps across the back. Like,
yeah, Father Peterson is probably like fiddling with half the bleeding town's kids.
But then again, you can't say like, that either. Do you know what I mean? Because you can't. It's like what we were saying. Not all men. Not all priests either. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely not. That's the one thing.
What am I saying? It's a major issue in Ireland. Absolutely. Like a lot of them are put into hiding in different parishes and stuff. But like that's a whole different like
religion is just a
but like
big black hole.
And I'd hate to think that like the majority of priests are like that, because I don't want to believe that.
We don't want to believe anyone's really like that. Like obviously it's just the I can't say that. It's the hypocrisy for me.
It's because it's so like it's such in the media. Like it's blatantly in front of people.
Yeah.
And it's joked about on shows, and you know, like it just becomes or like it's like it's just becomes stereotypical, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah.
But we just letting everyone know that we don't believe every priest is a pedophile, just letting us all know. Well, I don't. No, I like to think the better.
You like to have faith in your Christian beliefs.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say like I'm not going to say every priest or every second priest is one, because I don't believe they are. I think there's a handful of bad people in a crowd of people all the time.
Yeah, definitely. No matter like what industry or who you're walking past industry.
Exactly. Or what religion you're in. It doesn't matter who you are
among them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think
that was a little rant.
Yeah.
How long was it? Because we were supposed to do like random facts, but
it's an hour 20 now.
Oh. Because yours always, I think yours show a time from when we start on the call.
Yeah, we were pretty quick, so maybe it's an hour 10. Trent is here.
Cool.
Hi, buddy. Hi.
We can't.
You enjoy your walk? If you want, I can do a fact or two.
I just felt very quick, but I don't know if we were just like in the moment kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I just know whenever yours to say like, oh, it was an hour and a half, always it goes from the start, because then when I end recording, it's not as long.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do. I have a few facts here, just little random ones.
Just even quickly, if you want.
So, just an inspiration of International Women's Day, we said we'd looked up some like random fun facts about like women that we may not know. So some of them are: Miami is the only major US city that was founded by a woman.
Oh, go Miami. Well,
yeah.
Does it say her name? Was her name Miami? Why was it called Miami?
No, it doesn't say her name. What's another? Women are better than that's a bit obvious. So women are better multitaskers than men. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is good. Women speak 13,000 more words than men on a daily basis. I well believe that between me and Aaron. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's mad.
That's actually mad. Yeah.
We have a word count we need to hit every day. I don't know why men don't know this. Like, come on.
It's mad to think that you might say that amount of words in a day.
Yeah.
Like when you think of that number, that's a really big number.
14,000, yeah. There you go. According to a UK study, on average, women spend 18 years of their life dieting.
I believe that. That's sad.
Like, does dieting include starting and finishing in the same day?
I don't think it's yeah, but I think it's like the constant kind of, oh, I'm on a diet, oh, I'm trying to eat this, like, kind of mentality.
Yeah,
it's not like, oh, you're on a diet for a week, then stop for a week. Like, it's
again,
the whole thing
men
of
don't have
wanting
that pressure. An average woman eats 4 pounds of lipstick in her lifetime. I believe that.
Yeah, that's mad though.
I believe that. I definitely believe that. The amount of MAC lipsticks you've gone through on a night out because you've eaten half of it. You enjoying Trent is enjoying the women facts here.
I'm just seeing your arm move.
Yeah, sorry. The female sign represents the mirror of the Greek goddess of beauty, Aphrodite.
Oh, they like circle and it goes down, doesn't it? Is it that one?
I think it is. But this fact, because we actually talked about this a little bit, but not like we just talked about worldwide, but gender equality at the workplace could add 4.3 trillion to the US economy by 2025.
Wow.
That is major money. People want to get on this shit. Like, come on.
And you're trying to tell me there's no pay gap? I'm sorry.
We're all equal. Well, we're fucking not.
Really not.
Like,
that's insane.
Women in ancient Greece used to lighten their hair with plant extracts or arsenic.
Wow.
I say that was so.
Isn't it mad how that's like stuff was kind of probably made then? Like, that's how it, and then like evolution was like, now it's bleach.
Yeah. We can use this now.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's good. Women get drunk faster than men because the female body has less water in its tissue. This is the same reason why women sweat lesser than men.
Oh, wow.
You haven't seen me on a hot summer's day.
I was just going to say that. You haven't seen me sweat.
No, I'm not even joking. I'd be so women. Fucking so need a paddle boat, like,
oh, stop.
And here's one with an actual name. Anna Connolly engineered fire escapes in 1887.
Oh.
So she only cared if people got out of the building. Men don't think about these things. They think about, oh, there's a fire. What do we do?
Put the fork in the toaster.
Oh my God, the first computer programmer was a woman named Ada Lovelace.
Yeah, I've heard that before. There's a lot of women behind these things, but literally in the shadows, like when it came to like the first launch in NASA, or like mathematicians, or people leading the site in Morse code in like World War II and stuff. There's so many like women that were behind a lot of these things, but men took the claim. Like
they always do. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. But yeah, I think that's a few facts that you can ponder on. If you have any other good facts, please send them in. Let us know. Yeah. We love hearing a good fact now, don't we, Amy?
We do. We love a good fact.
We do love a good fact. But yeah, big happy International Women's Day. Celebrate women every day. We should, because we're the best things on earth, basically. Besides dogs. Dogs are just the best thing ever. Dogs first, women later. We should have a t-shirt. Dogs first, humans later, and women later.
Dogs are so much better. But yeah,
they are. Like, give me a dog any day. But thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There is new podcasts out every Wednesday and new videos out, I'd say every weekend.
Yeah,
Saturday or Sunday or Friday, because we have been vlogging the last few
Vlogger
weeks. vloggers one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
check them out.
Don't forget
and
to put
turn
that
on
belly
post
thing
notification. We said it at the same time.
on my mouth to kill
But
me.
I think, and of course, follow us if you're listening to audio on Spotify or Apple. And if you'd leave us a review or rating, we'd really appreciate it. And of course,
and if you're
social media.
And if you are listening on Spotify, we do poll questions on our Spotify page.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's a new thing.
And I think they expire after like 24 hours, don't they?
You can set it. I usually leave it up for a week till the next episode goes. If I do one, you can set like a time for it. But yeah, check them out. And of course, our social media, Instagram, TikTok being the main ones, are also at the Weird Girls Club. So
yeah,
see you next week.
That's it. See you next week.
Bye.